Welcome to the first episode of 2022 for Storytellers. Today I'm out here in Kamlaki, Ontario with Justine Goulet of Lake Life Studios as we learn about how she built this great business and this unbelievable brand. Hope you enjoy. Welcome everybody to our first episode of Storytellers for the year 2022. I have the pleasure of sitting down with Justine Goulet from Lake Life Studios today, and we're going to hear a little bit about her story.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us. Your shop is fantastic and definitely one of the most unique spots we've been able to film.
Yeah, a cozy little spot.
Yeah. So let's start our episode like we do every episode and tell us your story.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess I've always just been a creative person, really into arts and crafts when I was a kid. Always going to like art shows with my mom and stuff and loving to do that. And then growing up here on the lake, and that's just been a huge influence in my life. Like, just really, really love that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then in high school is when I got introduced to glass art, actually. I was really into manufacturing classes and art classes. And that's where I first got my hands on my tools and was able to do some creating there.
Cool.
Yeah, and then kind of like to further my education, I actually applied to 2 different programs after high school, and one was theater production at Ryerson.
Oh, wow.
And glass blowing at Sheridan.
Oh.
And my parents wouldn't let me do the glass blowing because they're like, how can you make a living as a glass artist? Yep. So then I chose theater at Ryerson, and I just loved it.
Cool.
It was such a cool program. I met so many creative people, and then just living in Toronto and getting all of that culture, it was super rad. I loved it. And then in that program, you can really choose kind of what part of theater design you want to get into, and I chose wardrobe and set.
Oh, cool.
So I learned a lot about like pattern making and drafting and did a lot of that, which was just amazing. And to be in the presence of all of those creative people was just like the coolest thing as a young person. I loved it. Yeah, it was super great. And then from that, I got a co-op at the National Ballet School.
Wow.
And then they actually hired me on for a little contract after that. So I was able to kind of work professionally in the arts for a little bit after graduating, which was really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I still wanted to continue to learn, so I applied for a couple of master's programs, and I got into one in Trinity College in Ireland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So after I graduated there, graduated from Ryerson, I moved over to Ireland and did my master's in the philosophy of performance production.
Oh, wow.
Which was so different from Ryerson, because
Yeah.
Ryerson's like so hands-on. Like for my thesis, I made corsets, and like it's all just kind of creative hands-on projects, where this was like book learning.
Yeah,
so it was a lot more challenging, but again, so cool just to be like immersed in that whole culture, at Trinity. It was amazing, and I got to do a lot of traveling out of that as well, which was really great. And then when I graduated from that program, I was like, it's time to move home, because I was dating my husband at the time.
Oh, cool.
This whole time, and he was like, please come home. I was like, yeah, I'll come home. And so I did, and it was hard to find a job right away because I wanted to continue
so unique what you're doing,
continue in the theater industry.
Yep.
So I actually got a job at Blythe for their summer season. And as a rural theater program, like it's pretty prestigious. Like it's a really amazing setup they got out there. So I was the assistant head of wardrobe out there for the summer and loved it.
Yeah.
And Blythe was pretty far. It was further than I thought when I first, because I had never been out there as a kid. And I like tented in the back behind the wardrobe, and like, it was just like really cool, like lifestyle, like kind of being like a theater bum. I loved it. And then that was just a seasonal contract. So then I also didn't want to move back to Toronto just yet. I wanted to still give it a go here. And then my good beach friend, Rebecca Murray, who is now a pretty successful realtor in the area, actually, she at the time was part owners of Bonnie Doon Glass.
Okay.
Yes, and they were in Forest. Yeah. And she was like, yo, we need help getting ready for our Christmas season. Yeah. Like, I love hanging out with you. Come work here for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, like, that sounds fun. I'll do this for a little bit while I kind of figure out my next move here. And I loved it. It was so fun. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of where I learned like the bulk of my craft, I guess, with Bonnie Jean Glass. And then also learning how to be an artist as as your job.
That's a profession, yeah.
Yeah, because they were really into all of the shows. Like we went to the One of a Kind show in Toronto. We did all kinds of shows up in Muskoka.
Oh.
And they ran a huge wholesale business there. So like I would make 50 snowman ornaments that day, and we like sent them all across North America. So just that job has really just like transpired into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was amazing learning experience.
So Bonnie June is kind of where you got exposed to glass making and stuff. When did you decide to kind of carve off on your own? So
they were closing the business. The other two partners, they were like, we've had enough. They were, they wanted to retire. Yeah. They were more in that group. And Beck also was like, like Bonnie Dean was very successful, but I think when there was 4 of us, it was hard to
cover costs.
And make a profitable life, right? Yep. So Beck ended up, me and her were initially going to go off together, and then she's like, actually, Justine, like, I think I'm going to try something new. And at first I was like, this is the worst thing ever. I love you, Beck. Like, this is what our thing was. But it ended up being the best move for both of us because she's in such a good place and love what she's doing now. Cool. And same.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So what year did you kind of break off and start up Lake Life?
2015. Wow. Yeah, 2015 is when that went down, and I got this little studio space, and we rent this this space, and was good friends with the people who own it, like back in the day. So. And it was so interesting, right? Like this actually part that we're sitting in used to be the laundromat, and I just had the front of the store at the beginning. Okay. Right? It was even smaller.
Yeah, no doubt.
And my kiln was like literally behind the till, and I'd be like cutting glass and being like, "Hey, welcome to the store." And it was so compact and so perfect, and just like really what I needed. And and then I just worked at that. And then I should say, too, during all of this, I've had every odd job in the book. Yeah? Yeah, I was working at the post office as a letter carrier when I first opened this up, just to, like, no one would come in for the first bit. It was just, like, my mom and my brother would, like, pop in and be like, hey, we're going to buy a feather. And I'll be like, yeah! So that's kind of how that went down. Yeah. And then I worked at like Halloween Alley, all the golf courses. I've been a server. Cool. Yeah, I've had all kinds of jobs during my schooling to kind of get all the skills,
this thing
right?
Off the ground.
It's just every job you have, you learn so much at every single one. Yep. So I think it was the first like year and a half, my hours on the door was open by chance or appointment. Because I was still, I was a call-in at the post office. And I'd be like, I got to go make money today. Like, I'm going to close this up and see you later when I'm done. Cool. And then it just got busier, and I was able to drop the post office and fully commit. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So your story is definitely one of following your passion.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, just giving her.
There's not too many out of high school that decide, theater set design is their path. So that's
I knew
cool.
I'd always be in the arts. Yeah.
So what did friends and family think about that path? Because that's definitely, especially from where we're at here in the industry, Sarnia Lambton, it's not definitely a typical path. It seems everybody kind of falls to what's comfortable instead of something creative.
Yeah, well, they do, I guess my parents and, my family, they're so supportive.
It's great,
man. The whole, all the way through, and especially when I was going to school. But I don't think they ever thought I would move back here. Oh, yeah. Right? I think that I would have to live in a city to have my art job, whatever it was going to be. Yeah, so to be able to move back to where I love it the most has been the best ever.
That's awesome. Yeah. So talk about kind of where you are today with Lake Life out here.
Yeah, we're moving, grooving.
What's the day-to-day look like?
Day-to-day really depends on the season, actually. Yeah, so we're in the middle of winter right now, post-Christmas, so it's slow. Yep. And retail is slow, and that's okay. That's right. Because we are a creative at the base here, so it gives myself and all of the artists that we carry in here time to get creative again and bring in some new cool products for the season. Cool. So I always say our year typically doesn't start until March, And May for Mother's Day is
Yeah.
like kind of the kickoff to like we need inventory because it's like the busy time.
Yeah.
So right now it's slow and just kind of planning the year ahead.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the business itself, the core, where would you say the core is right now? With your glass making and that sort of stuff? Or,
you know,
and maybe to give everybody kind of a perspective, there's probably not too many that are watching this locally that don't know who you are because you've built such a fantastic business, a fantastic brand.
That's so nice to say.
But maybe give some context of exactly what we can find when we come to Lake Life.
Yeah, so definitely I'd say I like to be like an elevated gift shop where it comes to artisan, like more gallery than like craft show.
Perfect.
I would say
Yep.
is what I'm looking for when I bring in other makers in here, and then especially with my own craft, and then the apparel. Yeah, the apparel is our walking billboard out there, and really helps convey, especially like visually through our social media, the like lake lifestyle and the brand that I'm building here. Yeah.
And that's where, you know, coming from my background in marketing, I think you've absolutely crushed it, and you are the pinnacle of what people will try to aspire to when creating a lifestyle brand, because from your social channels and your concepts,
nice to say. Thank you.
You knocked it out of the park in every way, shape, or form, even from your coffee cup there. Something unique and different
Lake
and
life,
carries it
everything.
through. Yeah, it's great. So
it's cool, and you know, like the apparel, it started out, we just had 2 or 3 designs in here, and then I think it was 2017 is when the logo got established, and I worked with a friend of a friend, actually I'm an artist, designer in Muskoka, to help me like really pick what our logo is going to be. And it's actually an exact cutout of my first glass feather that I made, which is hanging at my house in like a special spot, and I'll keep it forever. But yeah, it's this teal feather. It's my first thing that I made independently from Bonnie Doon. That was my own. That I was really proud of, and people bought it. People bought them at the craft shows. So I was like, amazing. I have come up with something that's authentic to me, and I can run with that as the heart of our brand here. And then to start putting it on the apparel, right? Like you have your friends and your family that want to support, but they're not necessarily, they don't want a glass on catcher. They love it, they appreciate it, they're super proud of it, but they don't necessarily want to buy one, but they will buy a t-shirt to support. So to have another tangible product in here that represents what I'm doing was it, right? And it took off because I think people like sensed that.
That's cool. So what motivates you to kind of keep this thing cooking and keep this thing going?
I love my job so much, so I just want to keep doing it. It's just to keep doing it most motivates me. I live around the corner. Like to have the hub here in Kamlaki is so important to like my lifestyle and my family that just to like keep going, to continue doing it is what motivates me for sure.
You mentioned family there. How do you maintain work-life balance? Because you are one busy young lady doing what you're doing.
Right? You know, there doesn't exist.
I hear you.
Right? It doesn't. I run a lifestyle brand, and it's a lifestyle that I live. It's not like a made-up thing that I'm like, this is going to sell. It's like literally what I do every day.
Absolutely.
So like, I'm off for the weekend, but we're all on my dad's boat, and he's got a lake life hat on, and I'm snapping pics, and I'm like always, I'm like, my best friends, they rock it all, so I'm like, get over there, like, no, I'm always working. It's sick.
It's not so much work-life balance, more work-life integration, right?
No, it's totally integrated. And then when we do like travels or just outside, that's like what inspires my like glass. Like I never turn it off. Really. It's constant.
That being said, burnout. Speak to that. Have you experienced it? Because going at the speed you're going, I can tell you firsthand, I totally understand that.
Every single year I experience burnout, and it's after every Christmas.
It's just that time you can let down and let go.
So basically from Labor Day until like December 20th, here every day, all day. Like there's no days off. And every year I get burned out. And I cope with that by shutting down January normally.
That's great.
We close. I don't open Instagram. I put on the auto reply on the email, and I just shut her down. And then it's great, because then I miss it at the end of that time off, and to get right back into it and like kind of start over for the new year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah. But it's so fun. Like but like I'm being here at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, one more glass tree, like just trying to make as much as you can. Last year was different because I became a mom last year, so I had more help. I hired more help last year. To kind of help. I can't. To prevent that from affecting family life so much.
How did you find that transition of going from kind of solo entrepreneur to building with a team around you?
It was good. Yeah, it's hard. It's your baby, right?
Absolutely.
To like bring in the right people is hard. And I will say I've never hired anybody like outside of my circle.
Oh yeah.
It's always been like my cousin's girlfriend that I've met, or like a customer who was like phenomenal, and like Julia, she's our weekend warrior, and we started out as like friends, and she was my customer, and it's always people that I know and like trust normally. But they are so important to what is happening in here.
Absolutely.
They're amazing. I wouldn't be able to do it without them.
That's right. Having the team is that's where you're going to get to that next step, right?
For
start to build out that team and be able to kind of divide and conquer a little bit.
Absolutely. And it's funny. They handle a lot of like the organization of the apparel. Like I'm not very good at that. Like my closet at home is like I'm bad at folding. Like, so they're so important for that to keep going smoothly, because I'm just like crazy artist brain.
See, it's cool that you recognize that too, right?
Like these are my weaknesses. Are you good at that? Show me a picture of your closet. You're hired.
There's a concept I learned a while ago. It's the whole thing of basically there's three types of people in a business. There's the artist, the entrepreneur, and the manager. So the artist is the creative type. The entrepreneur is the growth type, and the manager can keep everybody kind of in line.
Totally.
And when you recognize what you are and what you aren't, you can kind of start to fill in the gaps around that. And finally
give like those, let go a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'd say right now I am still very much all three of those hats. But I am working towards...
Heavily focused on artists.
Heavily focused on artists, because that is the whole, what drives the shop.
And that's where when I describe what I'm entrepreneur with artist tendencies, because I got the creative aspect, but I like the growth side of stuff. So part of the new set of questions we add in this is the old COVID topic.
Ooh, COVID.
Flashback to March 17th, 2020. Actually, I think I might get that date tattooed because it's ingrained in my mind how bad it was. Talk me through how you adapted. What transpired?
So like everybody else, when that happened, it was just like, whoa, like terrifying, horrifying, all of the feels. And just kind of sitting back and waiting to see what like the next move is. And it happened in spring, and that is when all of our new stock has arrived. Okay. So the shop was busting at the seams with inventory. And I'm like,
prepaid inventory.
We do wholesaling here. So I've purchased everything. So that was like, okay, how are we gonna move this when we can't have anybody in our store? But I luckily have a really beautiful website that was set up pre-COVID that we just sold our apparel on, and it did really well, like shipping across Canada, and always did well. So I added on the glass and artisan collections. Cool. So I came in, took a week, and just kind of photographed everything, put literally everything in the store up there. Beautiful. And then launched it. And our community, man, they're amazing. Like the support, shop local, like they came through. That's awesome. And it was amazing. And it was so good to me to put the artisan stuff up there as well, because then it's all a ripple effect, right? Like all of our other makers then had orders from me when all their shows were canceled and everything. So it was really cool to do that. And then we offered free delivery.
So you definitely pivoted and adapted.
That's totally how we pivoted. We never did delivery before, and we're like, free delivery. And then me and my husband would come in here and make the route and load up my little car and head to Sarnia for the day and just drive around, pick up takeout at some point. And it was fun once we got that figured out. That's cool. Once we got that figured out, it was super fun, actually. And the delivery has stayed. Cool. So that's now a part of the business. Our amazing employee, Lisa, does the deliveries for us still. And we had to end up, it's no longer free, it's
Yeah.
$5. But it's a cool thing I never thought that our shop would do.
Exactly.
Like I never
Forced
assumed.
you into innovating,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't think that would ever happen. It has been challenging keeping all of those artisan and glass products on the website.
Yep.
Just because the apparel is easy because it's all, we have multiples.
Yep.
Where the artisan
Onesie,
stuff
twosie
are
yeah.
a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces. So I'm still figuring out how to keep that going, but in a different way that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that COVID did for us, which was negative, I haven't taught a workshop since.
Yeah.
And I would love to get
coming back.
It's
coming back
yeah.
soon.
So I'm hoping to fire those up again because that, I would say, like circling back to when we first opened, that is something that did well first. Was the workshops.
Yeah. It's unique and different.
Yeah, and then that brought people in, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a candle and a tank top." That was a great workshop.
Right on.
And it was just fun.
Yeah.
Like the students were just like buzzing at the end of the day,
cool.
right? You're just like, "Wow, I made a glass piece." Like it's really fun. I love teaching.
Cool.
So I hope to bring that back.
Yeah. So switching gears a little bit. Let's talk about success and the idea of success, because everybody defines success a little bit differently.
Yeah.
How did you define it?
Just being happy.
Nailed it.
If you're happy, you're successful, and then everyone's happiness is different in what they need to be happy.
Yep.
If it's money to buy stuff and like that gets you there, right on. Mine is being able to come here every day and do what I love, to not really have like a big boss to tell me what to do, right? And that just makes me so happy, being able to be in the art industry.
Yeah. Follow the passion.
Yeah, follow the passion.
There's not too many people that can say they've done that, right?
Yeah.
They might try it or think they're going to go down that path, and then they bail and take the easy path of something more comfortable.
So to find success in that art industry and meeting, like we just have like lifelong customers in here, our lake lifers, that's what we call them. And, like I just love them so much, and they're so. Like some of them, they don't come in here and buy anything. They'll just come in to see what I'm working on that day and get inspired. And to me, that's success, to be able to have those relationships with them.
Absolutely.
Like it's so amazing.
Is there one moment that stands out that you can kind of look back and say, I've made it, this is the pinnacle of I'm able to do this on my own?
A couple of years ago, like you know how I love art shows. Like that's how I did a lot with Bonnie Doon. I went to them as a kid with my mom and my grandma, and I've always wanted to host one.
Okay.
Yes. So I think it was maybe 3 summers ago. We did like a kickoff to summer, and it was out in the parking lot, and we had 12 artists come and set up booths, and I'm like, guys, I don't know, like I didn't charge them anything. I'm like, just come and we'll see. And people came. It poured rain the whole day.
Oh, wow.
And people still came.
That's awesome.
And it was so fun. And then like that's the same with our Christmas open house that I do every year.
Yeah.
Like it's when the people come and show up, I'm like, like we got something
it's
here.
Working.
People want to come, and it makes them feel good when they come, and they're happy to be here.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then last year we got our trademark approved.
That's a pretty extenuous process.
It took 2.5 years. Yeah, 2.5 years. I worked with a team of lawyers out of Toronto. And last year in May, it finally got approved. And
so that has teeth on it too.
Oh
now.
yeah.
That's great.
The Canadian trademark, and it's exciting. It gives me the confidence to maybe wholesale our apparel to other lake communities. So I have a couple buddies in Muskoka that just opened up a shop. That might be the next step. Get some stuff there, because before I wasn't confident in doing that without the trademark, because then you're just kind of putting it out there for more copycats and then I have nothing to stand on. It's just oh, you're taking my art, but I have nothing to do anything. So now I do.
Cool, good for you.
Yeah, so that was a good, successful feeling moment when I finally got approved.
No doubt.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, has there been any really defeating moments that stand out in your mind?
Defeating moments.
I'm not going to call them failures, but like lessons that you learn. Let's call it that way.
Staff. Just like not hiring staff I should have hired staff sooner. Yeah, and then we could just do more.
So throughout all this, do you have a mentor or somebody you look up to or somebody that you turn to for advice as you built this amazing company?
Yeah, I would say my dad. Yeah, he is a home builder, and a master carpenter and just like an artist himself. He helped me design the entire interior of the studio. Wow. And yeah, like just like dealing with customs and customers.
Yeah.
He's helped me a lot in that sense.
Talk about this beautiful life
he's such a creative man.
Cool.
Yeah, he's been such a help and like a guidance in it for sure. And then actually my father-in-law as well, my husband's dad, he really helped me at the beginning connect with apparel manufacturers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I had a lot of questions for him down the road, and I'm kind of I've figured it out myself. But in the beginning, like he was huge.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So both of those daddy-os.
Awesome. So as you've kind of grown and experienced what you have with this company, is there any opportunities that you feel you missed?
Well, I'd say every single time there is a local show.
Yep.
Like I know Refined Fool puts on an awesome market, like Art Walk, the one in Brights Grove. Whenever there is some type of like art show festival and I'm not there, I'm always disappointed that I wasn't there.
And there's so many now.
There's so many, and I love them all, and I just want to attend them all and be part of them all and like have a presence and meet my booth mate and like meet more people that want to do this and build those relationships. And yeah, every single time I don't sign up, I'm like,
you have to develop a little street team to be out there.
Yeah, I know, but like, it's hard to, because before when we weren't so busy, it'd be easy to go, and I would just shut down for the Saturday and take the inventory from the store and go.
Sure.
But I can't do that anymore, so I have to be like extra prepared and make an entire separate inventory for those shows, and then have the store staffed as well while I'm there. So that has been hard because I love being part of that. That's like my background, I would say, like in this before the store was successful. So yeah, every time there's an event where an artist can be there and I'm not there, I wish I was.
In time. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received along this path?
This all sounds super cheesy, but just be yourself.
Yeah.
Really. Like you can get down on the dumps about something, or you bring something in that doesn't do as well as you thought, and you can get kind of down, but then my people, my team, they're just like, Justine, just like continue doing you, and it always really works out in the end. Yeah, just continuing to stay authentic and always like circle back to why we're here in the first place. Doing it. Yeah.
Would you attribute that to the long-term success that you've experienced with this company?
I think so. Oh yeah. The girls too, like especially this summer, I wasn't in the store very much because I was at home with the baby and kind of took most of the summer off from the retail side of it. And a lot of our customers, they're bummed out when I'm not in here. Yeah.
They like seeing the face
of
the
company. For
company.
sure, and I'm bummed out missing their faces too. So I'd say just like being present and being like, if you own a business, like you got to be there as much as you want to have other people helping you out, which you need people helping you out. But to have a presence and to be there and really be the face of it and like do the customer service and work through the problems with everybody really is, I'd say, part of the long-term success. And then just having different avenues within your business. Right? You have different things.
Divisions,
like
and
you got the apparel, our workshops, like to have different sections is important, I think.
If you had to start over tomorrow, would you take the same path?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Even down to my horrible part-time student jobs. I would do them all. Because,
just to gain the experience.
You meet people along the way and all of the skills, even if it's just like how to clean a dishwasher properly.
There you go.
Right? Like there's all of those things that you learn down the road that are so important to like who you become as a person. And I like who I am as a person. So I wouldn't change anything.
That's great.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Where's Lake Life? Where are you?
Well, hopefully doing the same thing. Plugging away at it all. And then I'd really like to get back to doing larger pieces.
Okay.
So when we first opened, we weren't busy too much, so I was able to make like cool one-of-a-kind pieces. I think I've made a total of 12 of those vessel sinks.
Okay. Oh, wow.
For people that I know that I've made them, and backsplashes and cabinetry inserts.
Wow.
I'd really like to team up with my dad and my brother's construction company and do more of those big installs.
Cool.
So I guess where that means for like the rest of Lake Life functioning is that I might need to hire a glass apprentice.
There you
and
go.
teach someone like how Beck taught me.
You know you're going to get a pile of emails now.
Right? Bring them on. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is where I would like to see that going. And then to have those new artists that I would be teaching the glass fusing, and then they can kind of help on the production line when it comes to Christmas.
Yeah.
So that I can pay more or put more of myself into the larger custom projects, because I love doing those. They're terrifying, and it's just so great when it works out.
Challenging though, right? Yeah, and that's it. Continuing to kind of keep yourself challenged and move in that direction.
For sure. Yeah.
Cool. So if you were to look back or talk to somebody, 17, 18-year-old Justine, wondering where to go from here, what piece of advice would you give them?
Honestly, to go to school, even if it isn't, and I know people are like, you don't even need a degree, or like blah, 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 no one uses their degrees, but you're still going to learn so much in that program, and you're going to meet people that aren't from Lambton County.
Yes, the independence piece of it.
And be on your own.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for the kids right now. Trying to do that, and they just can't because of our current climate.
Or they're stuck in their parents' basement for the first couple
online.
Of years.
I don't know what would happen to me if that was my time for that. So, but when things open up and when it gets back to normal, don't do it right now because it's not the same, I guess, but do it when it's available.
Yeah.
And go to some type of school and get an education.
Yeah.
And you will meet so many people, and you'll be able to use what you've learned there in some shape or form.
It's not necessarily the end, exactly.
I went to theater school, and I run a retail business now, and I'm a glass artist. But I would not change that degree for anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. We end every episode of Storytellers with the rapid fire set of questions.
Rapid fire. Fun. Okay.
So, let's start.
Okay.
Number 1, are you a morning person or a night hawk?
These days, morning person.
It's the best time of day.
It is.
You can get so much more accomplished.
It's good. And I love paddle boarding.
Yeah.
And getting up for a sunrise paddle, I don't think anything beats it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So are you like the 5 a.m. club?
No, that's nighttime. That is nighttime. I say that to my baby. It's nighttime. I'm a 6.
Okay.
I can do 6.
You're right do you prefer to read the news on your device or in the paper?
I do news on the radio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Local radio?
Local radio.
Good.
We put on K106 in the morning. And it's on every morning at our house till that 8 a.m. news comes on. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I turn it off.
Good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite social media platform? I could probably guess this. But
Instagram. And it's a love-hate relationship with Instagram.
Yeah.
It's so great. I say we have an Instagram business because I don't think people would have found us out here without it.
Yeah. How many followers do you have on there now? It's incredible.
14,000.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you jumped on the TikTok game?
No. I'm terrified of it. I've spent so much time on Instagram for work that I don't even think I can handle being on TikTok.
You know what it's saying? You're getting too old for TikTok.
I am. I am too old for TikTok.
I'm with you.
I refuse. I'm not getting an account. I might have to get my niece or something to create one for us or something.
Be the brand ambassador.
It does seem to be going the way of the videos.
It's definitely picking up steam. And a lot of people have a lot of success on it. But
they do, but I can't. It's too much for me.
Country life or city living?
Lake life living.
Lake life. There you go. What's one of the things on your bucket list?
To travel more.
Yeah.
I love traveling.
Where's the one place you got to hit?
I'd love to just see more of Europe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love the Caribbean. I've been to about 18 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I would just love to continue to do that.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to go everywhere. Yeah.
It's inspiring when you go to those countries too, especially with what you're doing.
Honestly, you get off the plane, you put your feet down on a new ground, you breathe in new air, and it's just cool.
Yeah.
You're just out of your bubble, and you see how the other side lives, and it's amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Okay, well, I hate driving.
Oh, yeah?
I dislike driving a lot. but it's when people tailgate me when I'm driving is my biggest pet peeve. And I just slow down. I just drop like 10 clicks, and I'm like, so yeah, if you're tailgating me, I will slow down and ruin your day. That is my biggest, I hate it.
What's your favorite food?
All of the food.
All of it?
I love all
Everything.
food. I like literally eat everything.
What's your least favorite food then, if we have to flip that one?
Like salad? I don't know. I love it all. I love like seafood, pizza. Like I eat all of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
I grew up with cats. I have a dog. I'd say dogs now. I've turned. I love dogs.
Flipped?
Yeah, I have flipped to the dog side.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clean desk or messy?
This is it. It's very clean right now.
Clean, yeah.
It's a workbench. It's usually covered in glass and a paper with a note of something I have to do later. But yeah, I don't have a desk. This is it. It's a workbench. It's
very clean.
Multifunctional. It's very clean today for you.
Where all the work got done right there.
Definitely some slivers in here.
Last question. What song do you want played at your funeral?
I don't have a specific song. I would just like my Spotify pump up beats to be played the whole time.
There you go.
And then it just turned into a big rager party. Yeah.
Love it.
Just play my whole playlist.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Then we're done. Yeah, get out.
And we're good. Yeah,
Cool.
all the songs. I love music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Justine.
Oh
this
my
has been a
gosh.
blast. I appreciate you having us out here, and I wish you all the success as you continue to drive this thing.
Thank you for having me. That was super fun.